Are satin bonnets or do-rags better for locks? Today I'm going to be discussing the pros and cons of both. Let's get it. Welcome back to the Atreyu Locs channel. Hi, I'm Atreyu, a semi-freeformer who is dedicated to bringing you the best tips to grow a healthy set of locks. If this is your first time, make yourself comfortable. I'm glad to have you. So many of you are new to the lock journey and understandably so have a lot of questions. Even though you've already done quite a bit of research, especially in the form of YouTube videos, there are still some unanswered questions. One such question is the do-rag or the satin bonnet better for locks? Let me first say that both can be very helpful in protecting your locks. The thing is, you have to know when to use each one. And you also have to consider what you're trying to accomplish or achieve with respect to your locks. Let's look at the do-rag. It has a smooth material, it's comfortable, it keeps your hair and roots in place. This is clutch when you are trying to maintain a fresh retwist. It protects against lint and debris. You can wear the do-rag indoors or outdoors. And it's just a look in and of itself. Kind of like having locks is kind of just a look. Wearing the do-rag is just a look, at least for us dudes. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Let me know in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of variety, meaning there are all different types of do-rags that you can wear. You have so many choices. Now, let's move on to the satin bonnet. It's also of a smooth material. It's very comfortable. It allows your locks to move around versus the do-rag, which kind of holds everything in place. It also protects against lint and debris. And there is a lot of variety in the product. There are all types of satin bonnets. For example, you have reversible bonnets. You have the ones that have the exposed elastic band. I don't really care for those. I'll tell you why a little bit later. But they exist. And then you also have the ones that you can adjust. So there are many different types of satin bonnets. Now, a few cons where the do-rag is concerned include you can outgrow it. It keeps your hair pressed to your scalp. So if you're not looking for your hair to be plastered to your scalp in the mornings, then that could be a disadvantage for you. It can leave a line of demarcation right on your forehead, especially if worn too tightly and for too long. And if you have a lot of hair, it can fall off when you're sleeping. Now, looking at some of the cons of the satin bonnet, if you have one where the elastic band is exposed, it can pull on your hairline and lead to traction alopecia. The same type of bonnet can also leave a line of demarcation on your forehead if it's too tight or worn for a long time. And to be quite honest, it's not really a desirable look for guys. I assume this because its use is ubiquitous among the ladies, and so that association is naturally made. But hey, if you're enjoying this video, definitely hit the like button and smash the subscribe button if you want to see more content from moi. So as I said in the beginning, both the do-rag and the satin bonnet can be used to protect your locks. The key is knowing when to use each one. If your goal is to maintain a fresh retwist, then obviously you want to go with the do-rag because you want to keep the roots in place. You don't want them to frizz up. The satin bonnet won't help you in that front because there's too much space up under there, right? So you need the do-rag for that sort of thing. If your goal is to protect against lint and debris, then I'm gonna have to give it to the satin bonnet. Now, you might be thinking, well, the do-rag can also protect against lint and debris. And that is true, but only up to a certain point. Once your locks get too long for the do-rag, meaning you can't put them all under your do-rag, then obviously part of them will be exposed and not protected from lint and debris. So a satin bonnet, if it's the right size, will be able to fit all of your locks, the entire length from root to tip. So yeah, the W goes to the satin bonnet for that. If your goal is to wear a baseball cap or hat, then I'm gonna have to give it to the do-rag. Once again, you're trying to keep everything down and low and in place. You want it to be just nice and smooth and compact because you're gonna be sporting a cap or hat. So obviously the satin bonnet would not work well in that situation because it doesn't keep your hair close to your scalp. If your goal is to wear a tam, then yeah, once again, we're gonna have to give it to the satin bonnet. Hello. Because you wanna get all of your locks tucked under, right? So that you can put the tam on. So tuck all your locks in the satin bonnet and then put the tam over the satin bonnet. The reason that you do that is to protect your hair from any of the fibers and length that may be coming from this material that the actual tam is made of. A do-rag wouldn't do that because, once again, if you have longer locks, it's not going to be able to cover all of your locks. You're not going to be able to stuff them all up under a do-rag, right? So hopefully you can now see that neither the do-rag or the satin bonnet can really one-up one another. While there is undeniable overlap in terms of their uses, they ultimately do still serve different purposes. For example, you would never wear a satin bonnet to try to develop 360 waves, right? Exactly. So it's not a matter of which one is better for locks, but rather which one is needed for your particular situation in that moment. And don't be surprised if it changes with time. What do you guys do to protect your locks though? Clearly you guys know I use the satin bonnet. More than anything, sometimes I'll use the dread sock because I really like that as well. But to be honest, I get sick of using the same thing all the time, so I like to switch it up. And if I'm just going for style, but I want my scalp to be low and protected while I wear a cap or something, but I want my locks down, then I'll even use a do-rag. I already know some of you don't even cover them at all, especially some of you vets. You guys are like, yeah, whatever, you ain't gotta cover them, I ain't covering them, my locks are fine. To each his or her own, that's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys use to cover your locks, if you actually cover them. If you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. This is DuRag Cons, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.